Hello, my friend, and welcome. In today's video, I received a suggestion from one of the subscribers asking, Rob, it would be a great idea if you can just explain to us how long it takes for the actual application process to occur once you've applied to a college. And I thought this was a really good idea. So, Modsam, thank you for the suggestion. And let's talk about this in today's video. One of the biggest challenges at the moment in Australia is that there is a delay in getting your student visa. And this can be quite frustrating, especially when at the moment you're excited to come and you're ready to study and you're ready to create that new life for yourself. But it can be quite frustrating and a little bit discouraging when you're still waiting for that visa. So at the moment, we have a number of clients here at EWB who are onshore as well as offshore that are still waiting for that visa to come through. Now, there's no secret or no exact time frame for how long this visa will take, but it's a really good idea that when you are looking to apply to Australia, try to do it as early as possible because it is going to take some time for it to come through. So, for example, I've had one student who submitted his application to a college probably about a month ago, and he is currently an onshore student, and he's still waiting today to start his course in February. So, that's how long the process can take. So the Department of Home Affairs recommends that you need to give at least 12 weeks for a visa to be processed. Now, this is quite generous. I would actually allow a little bit longer. I would actually allow maybe between 4 to 6 months, and that's to avoid disappointment. So if you are looking at studying, think about it from a 2023 point of view and look to get your applications in as soon as possible. So that way, when 2023 comes around, you won't miss out. The visa processing time is still considerably long. And to demonstrate this, let me show you what it looks like on the Department of Home Affairs website. To help you, what I'll do is provide the link below in the descriptor so that you can come to this anytime you want to, so you can investigate how long it's going to take for you to receive a potential visa. Now, here you can see the actual link itself, but I will provide that. And when you come down to here, what you can do is you can select the visa type. So let's say, for example, we want to select the student visa, so the subclass 500. And let's say, for example, I'm applying for vocational education and training. And let's say I'm selecting today's date. And when I hit submit, so what you'll find that the current processing time could take as much as 285 days. So that's why it's really important to try to get your visa application in as soon as you can and apply to the schools as soon as you can. So that's a long time. 90% processed in this period, 285 days. So this means that there's a further 10% that can go beyond this. Now let's take a look at the difference between a vocational education and training sector and higher education. So we're talking about degrees and things like that. And now let's hit submit again. All of a sudden, you'll see that there's been a reduction of almost half, 147 days to obtain a visa, a student visa for a degree. So you can see the difference there when you're looking at which particular qualification or which particular pathway to take. Now, let's say, for example, if I go to a postgraduate research and click submit, similarities quite high as well. And let's say for a final thought, let's go with English programs just to give you a bit of a comparison. English programs, 139 days. So this is the lowest rate out of the vet sector, the higher education sector, and the English sector to have a look at. Of course, you can come here and try a different type of visas as well, but a lot of these may not be relevant to you. If you want to try different visa options, you can come here and have a look and try the different visa options as well. So let's say, for example, a visitor visa, which is one thing that I'm commonly asked about as well. If I click on the submit, so let me select the stream. So tourist, click submit. 109 days to obtain a visitor visa. So that gives you a much better indication of how long it takes. Plus, also, if you have an IMI account as well, you could always come into there and check that out as well. Another delay that can sometimes hold up the process is that myself as an education agent, depending on the college that you're applying to, I may need to partner with a third party to help you to get into a specific institution. Now, sometimes this can be quite challenging, and maybe one partner may not be able to get you into a particular institution. I may need to reach out to another. So this can take a little bit of time sometimes, and it can delay the process, maybe for or by a week or 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not an exact science, and sometimes this can cause delays as well, which again, I understand can be quite frustrating. A third problem that can cause delays may be the time it takes to receive final documentations from clients. So it's always the best or great idea to look at all the different documents that are required at the start. So generally with my clients, I would send out a checklist with all different documents that are needed. The quicker you can get those together and send them through, the better. Now, you don't always have to send them all through at once. You can start sending them through as you receive them. This way, I create a portfolio in the background, and I will remind you if there are any other documents that are required or still need to be completed. So this is part of the service that I provide, and it's there to reduce the stress and the hassle of when it is that you're dealing directly with the school as opposed to dealing with myself. The fourth challenge that can create delays is you've received your letter of offer, you've signed it, and now the school is waiting for payment for you to finalize your payment. So if you're ready from the start, you know how much the amount will be for the college. Make sure you try to pay this as soon as you can, so that way you can receive your confirmation of enrollment, you can finalize your overseas student health cover, and you can also make sure that way that then you've got enough money to be able to pay the migration agent, if you're using a migration agent, to help you with your visa application. And then this will get the ball rolling in order for you to come and study here in Australia. So if you use myself as an agent, please note that it's not a 5-minute job to get you into an institution. There is a lot of research in the background that needs to be done in order to match you to the right state or territory here in Australia and to the right college, and also that fits in with your budget. Now, this can take a little bit of time, and my goal is to try and make sure that I can meet all of your requirements that you need. So please bear with me, please be patient, and I'll make sure that I do my best to try to complete everything within a sufficient time frame. Please note, it can sometimes be a little bit out of my control, and sometimes I'm in a similar situation to yourself in the waiting game, but hopefully one day you'll be coming here to Australia to study, and who knows, maybe I might be able to meet you face to face rather than through a virtual screen, and who knows, we could have a coffee together. That would be great. Another issue that I've been coming across as well is some of the institutions have been a little bit picky when it comes to selecting or accepting students from offshore countries. And this is something that I've recently been encountering. So if you're looking to apply for a university, some of the universities are being very picky in reference to which particular countries they will accept students from. So this makes it a little bit more challenging for when it comes to looking at what is the right institution for yourself that I may be able to assist you with. Now, the issue here is sometimes I may need to look at other potential states or territories in order to be able to help you to get into a particular course that you are interested in. It's not always going to be the best state that you want, but it might be something that you may need to consider in order to be able to actually receive a student visa in the first place. Another encounter that I've been facing from institutions themselves is some institutions can vary to others in the amount of information that they require. So for some particular institutions, they may have an internal English test that I can have you complete to apply to. Other institutions may require you to have your full financials completed in order for them to be able to make an informed decision of whether or not you're the right student for them. Or they may even ask you for your statement of purpose, so your GTE, so they can review it and identify if you are a genuine student or not, and if they are willing to accept you into their institution or not. Now, the reason for this is because every time a student visa is rejected against an institution, this actually affects the institution's risk rating. So this is why that some of the institutions are a little bit hesitant sometimes to accept students from certain countries because they're worried about their risk rating. If their risk rating drops, it means that their level, so you have level 1, 2, and 3, their level drops, and if their level drops, it actually makes it that little bit harder for students to come to their institution. So therefore, they might sometimes make the parameters a little bit harder for you to apply against, which then also means that you may require or may need to make some more time towards your application so that you can be much more prepared and much more successful in your bid to apply to a particular college as well. Now, one other thing to consider here and to help speed up the process could be to actually come to Australia on a visitor visa. Now, I've spoken to a number of my fellow colleagues that are in the educational agency space, and they all say the same thing. At the moment, it's actually a little bit easier to obtain a visa if you come onshore to Australia and apply directly onshore versus being offshore and applying that way. The reason for this is because applications are being more closely scrutinized, and because there is such an influx of applications coming through, they are taking longer to process. So one way is to come on a tourist visa or a visitor visa and look to apply to stay here in Australia through a student visa, and it's found that the option of being able to transition is a little bit easier and also a little bit quicker as well. So that's just something to consider. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I leave that for you to decide. But at the moment, that's the state of play in Australia, and it might be better to come here on a tourist visa instead. Now, you may ask, Rob, what happens if you come on a tourist visa and you apply for the student visa? So what happens is you could end up on what we call a bridging visa. So that means that you can stay here while your application is being processed, and this will mean that you stay here longer. Now, the downside of either a tourist visa or visitor visa and a bridging visa is that you don't have the right conditions to be able to work. So that's the downside of that process. But it may mean that you are a little bit more guaranteed to get your student visa while you're here, as opposed to being rejected. My friend, other education agents may not tell you this, but I want to be transparent with you, and I'm not the type of person to mix my words. And I'd rather be upfront, so you know that when you are going to come to Australia, or if you are going to apply for a student visa and come and study in Australia, you do this with your eyes wide open. And that's my promise to you, that I will always be upfront and forward with you in order for you to know what is happening at any given time. I hope this video helps to answer some of those questions in how long it sometimes takes to get a student visa and why sometimes the process can be delayed. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends, so if they are interested in coming to Australia, they're aware of some of these delays as well. And please feel free to comment below, and if you have any suggestions for other videos that you're interested in seeing, please let me know, because I'm always open to helping to answer the questions that you're struggling with in order to also help others as well. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.